Hello guys and gals, did not expect to be making this video today. Now ladies and gentlemen, from time to time I've covered the internet phenomenon known as Chris Chan, okay? I have a lot of favorites when it comes to internet historical pieces. I want to ask you, who do you think is the most documented figure? Is it Jesus Christ? Is it Saddam Hussein? Hold on, let me start this again. Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar getting a bank job in Los Santos going, but I did not expect to be making this video today, okay? Somebody's staring at us right now. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Chan, okay? Now, I did not expect, all right, what we're about to be talking about. Now, I've made videos on Chris Chan before because I like to follow a lot of internet-related phenomenons, okay? Who's the most documented figure in the world? Is it Jesus Christ, Mahatma Gandhi, Saddam Hussein, Adolf Hitler? Nah, it's Christine Weston Chandler, Chris Chan, Sonichu's creator, the father of Sonichu, goddess of the dimensional merge. Yeah, there's a lot of shit I wish I could purge from my brain cells, but you know, the dimensional merge has not happened yet, as far as I know. Peter Griffin isn't flying around the world, okay? You know, Aladdin isn't flying on his magic carpet around, last I checked, but Christine Chandler has been released from prison. In fact, charges have been dismissed. Now, a while back, you may have remembered a situation that we call the incest saga. So this is a situation where Chris Chan had a... You know, this video is already going to get demonetized anyways. Chris Chan did their mom. All right, it is what it is. So there was an incestuous relationship. And usually, I'm under the impression that this is one of those criminal cases that should, like, disgust any human being, okay? I sat down with my mom, had this discussion. She hung up the phone halfway into the call, so you can tell already the general public does not approve of this. Now, according to this Greene County Circuit Criminal Division, Chandler Christine, Ruckersville, Virginia. And of course, you can see right here at 9 a.m. they reviewed this case and they dismissed it. Now, according to the U.S. law, all right, dismiss refers to the court's decision to terminate a court case without imposing liability on the defendant. The court may dismiss a case in response to a defendant's motion to dismiss or do so sua sponte, voluntarily. Now, this is like incredibly lucky. It's kind of like if you committed a murder and they caught you red-handed with the murder weapon in the hand, like bleeding, and they still decided to like let you go. This is one of those scenarios. Now, I'm a firm believer that the state of Virginia, in fact, no state in the United States has an idea of how to process such a volatile situation. And Chris Chan was in prison for quite a long time, in jail, really, not prison, in jail. I know there's a bit of a difference. So he was in jail for a little bit because honestly, the state of Virginia was like, how do we handle this? How do we process this? How do we like process this situation? And being in jail for so long, they were let out a couple months ago where they were just like hanging around the world, okay? They were in the open world. So a fair amount of the community, all right, you know, people on the internet were following this person around, literally geolocating them. It got to the point where finding Chris Chan at a Walmart or like, you know, at a 7-Eleven was like finding Sasquatch, okay? It got to a really weird, like stalkery situation. Something that I want to just firmly state I don't condone. I think that's really weird behavior, but that was basically post-jail saga. The next step in this was Chris Chan hanging around on the old Nintendo Switch. So this showed us that Chris was basically in a halfway house, and I guess they allowed Chris to have access to the internet, which is a little bit shocking given, you know, their propensity to upload random shit on the internet all the time. So they were just playing like every Pokemon game nonstop on the Switch the last few days. It's been a wild few days. But after all of that, what had effectively started happening where it was people had noticed that Chris Chan was just constantly liking stuff on X. A lot of stuff was pony related. It gets to the point where it's pretty NSFW pony related. So if you're noticing some big blurs here, it's because, you know, it's literally pony pussy on the screen. Can't really show it, can I? So again, charges have been dismissed. Literally, the charge was incest with own child. And yeah, the state of Virginia had no idea how to process it, and that's how Chris Chan literally got away with incest. Now, realistically, if I want to be honest here, I don't think Chris Chan is ever allowed near their mom again, which is a really sad thought when I think about it, for the separation of a child and their parent. But then you realize what they did with their parent, and you're like, wow, I'm glad that Chris Chan probably can't see their parent. In fact, I think the stipulation for the release probably involved a state carer, which is what I said all along. That's probably the only way to live if you're Chris Chan. Have a state mandated carer, live in a halfway house, and most importantly, you know how like a lot of predators, are told not to go near school zones? Chris Chan is not supposed to go near retirement homes, okay? Especially stuff like that, all right? Retirement home, old folks homes. That's never supposed to happen. You can't have a skater boy situation, okay? So this is the life, all right? This is what it is. Chris Chan has been released from jail, and no charges, no nothing. Meaning that, like most situations in Chris's life when it comes to law enforcement, he gets off with the absolute luck of a cockroach, all right? Nothing will stop this individual. But yeah, it is what it is. I never expected to be making this video with this specific information. Frankly, I'm very disgusted. I think the state should have handled this in a much better way. But then I realized that Chris Chan is a wild individual, a very weird, stunted individual, not really an adult. And there's no real way to process the situation. So I'm going to go throw up, ladies and gentlemen. And it is what it is. I think this whole saga has ended. The dimensional merge has failed to really show anything. Now, after having a whole night to truly process this information, waking up with more reflection, this entire case was kind of crapped out to begin with. Now, in no excuse am I sitting here trying to downplay the sick crimes and perversions, but this is one of those situations where the person committing them is just mentally not there. So I think the entire state just honestly kept them locked up in jail. Again, didn't really know how to process anything, and because of how long they spent in prison, I pretty much said early on, like months ago, that the reason that they're even allowed outside is because even if you looked at how much that they would get charged by had they gone through sentencing and gone through an entire trial, they would have sentenced to say like a year or something, which if you've already spent a year in prison, as far as I understand legally, that's time served. So you would literally just say, hey, you've been sentenced to a year. Oh, you've already served a year? All right, get out. Which I think that's pretty much where it was coming down to. At the end of the day, I'm absolutely 100% sure that the stipulation is you don't go near old people and you're absolutely watched for the rest of your life. Which, given this person's, point in life, I absolutely believe that to be what they need, 100%. This is not like an adult. I mean, they're an adult in what they did, and they should be tried like an adult. But mentally, I don't think this person is an adult. And there's been an entire, I would say, decade plus 2-decade long campaign of trolling to the point where, like, they'll never be a normal person, okay? Chris Chan's never going to be normal. And this is where the saga ultimately stops, okay? This is where it's all pretty much done. I don't think they'll be allowed to make posts, videos, on the internet, just because that's pretty much what invites situations like this in the first place. If you looked back into like Isabella Janke, the troll group that basically goaded Chris Chan into doing this heinous action in the first place, they're not going to allow this person to touch the internet. And if they do touch the internet, not to produce any generated content. And maybe that is like the stipulation. Maybe breaking that can cause severe consequences. But if it's one thing about consequences in Chris Chan's life, again, like I said earlier last night, okay, literally they could commit a murder, have the murder weapon on them dripping blood, and still somehow find a way to get away. That's how insane it is. But ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and yeah, I'm out.